Hello, world.
Howdy, howdy. You hit the button. We're
I
live.
hit the button. We're live. I got a ring light. I'm glowing. You're not
You're
going to
glowing. You're glowing. Are you
fade
pregnant?
into the dark anymore as the
Yeah.
shows go on. We've been very fortunate, and I was able to spend $12.99 on a ring light. So here we are.
And we've been 2 weeks since we've been live.
It has been a long time. Hence the name of our episode today. Been a long time.
Been a long time.
We've had a couple family illnesses. I switched jobs, had to get settled into a couple things. Didn't forget about y'all, but, sometimes life happens. Remember,
Yes,
2 weeks in, you said you didn't want to do one because you got tired. This one's a little bit more acceptable of a lull.
Yeah. I was just trying to sound like a – never mind, I'm not going to say it. Like I said, I always get myself in trouble with my opinion. I'm not even going to say it.
Anywho, we've got a little bit to talk about tonight. I'm waiting for Haas to propagate up in the corner. I hope we get him tonight.
We're hostless right now.
Well, we are hostless. I hope he didn't forget about us.
Oh, gosh, I hope not.
But first things first, we always like to talk about our philanthropy that we do. This month, we've just really been focusing on trying to get the word out for the families Uvalde. People have been sharing the link. It's been fantastic. We're really appreciative of it. There's about 3 days left. Keep sharing. You guys are all going to be in the running for anything that we decide to give away around Christmas. Right now, it's looking like a jersey. And, we appreciate it. Keep, spreading good word, good spirits. Keep helping people. That's what we like. But without further ado, we have some Bengals talk brought to you by – go ahead.
You can do it. I'll do the sound effect.
Birminghorn Meadery.
God bless Birminghorn.
God bless the good fellas at Birminghorn.
And the meadery that is part of the Birminghorn.
In the meadery. Yes. So, not a whole hell of a lot to talk about, Bengal-wise.
I'll tell you something I'd like to talk about before you get into your subject.
Okay.
It's going to require you, though, to go on Twitter and find it.
Uh-oh. I got to navigate.
Yeah, this could be a big O. So we might want to talk about what we're going to talk about. But I will say there are countless people that put combinations of jerseys and uniforms and concept helmets and all that kind of stuff on Twitter. And it's fun. It's neat to look at it. But you know the one I'm talking about. There's a really cool one that's out there. Black jersey, orange pants, black socks.
Yeah.
It's Chase. If you can find that one, I just saw it again just the other day on Twitter. But if you can find it, that is my number one draft pick right there.
You like the black top, orange pants.
Black top, orange pants, black socks. Looks really, really good.
I'll see if we can find it.
Anyway, what we were going to talk about with the Bengals is, believe it or not, Joe Burrow has an opinion.
Right, and frankly, he's allowed to. And
absolutely,
if you get mad over someone's opinion, sucks to be you, man.
Yep, just turn it off.
And maybe I can easily say that because I probably agreed with his opinion. I'll just say that. I don't mind saying that. But there are plenty of guys' opinions I disagree with that I can easily move on from. You wouldn't understand that from Twitter. But the thing that does bug me is when people say, oh, you're an athlete, stick to sports. He's an American. These are American issues. We're not going to dive into the issues. Everybody's well aware of what's going on right now.
So I guess if somebody is a doctor or a dentist or a construction worker, they can't speak up either because that's what they are. They're just pigeonholed into what they do for a living is who they are, and they can't have an opinion.
Like I don't even know what I'm allowed to talk about. I've had like 15 jobs in my life.
You have been totally censored. You're done.
Right. I can't voice an opinion, which is completely asinine because that is his First Amendment right.
Excuse me, I have something important to do.
Uh-oh. I have a feeling it involves a cat.
Yeah, Shiesty was crying. You were about to hear that over the
about to hear her megaphone.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But no, just for simplicity's sake, if you don't like his opinion, then move on. Right? I see people wishing him injury. I mean, that's ridiculous. Did you see the jackass today from Australia that I guess called him fragile and that the Bengals need to sign a guy like Tim Tebow just in case.
Yeah. I saw that.
What was that about?
Tim
Tebow? Tim Tebow can't even throw a block right. We watched that. Oh my God.
Twitter's dangerous because it gives everybody an equal voice. It's a little dangerous.
Everybody deserves a voice. I don't know if everybody deserves an equal voice.
I don't know if everybody deserves a voice, but some opinions need to be kept to themselves. Or again, just don't listen to them.
Just ignore it. Whatever. And like, just so I don't look like a complete hypocrite, where I said you don't like Joe Burrow's opinion, just ignore it. I didn't ignore that guy's opinion today just because it was so far gone. But all I said was this is a little fragile as well. Because all he said Joe Burrow was fragile.
The difference is there are hundreds of thousands and hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Thousands of hundreds.
All those. There's a bunch of zeros that agree with Joe Burrow. There's a bunch of zeros that don't agree with Joe Burrow. Somebody's saying Joe Burrow is fragile and the Bengals need to get Tim Tebow. I don't think there's ones and ones of people that agree to that with that one.
I did see one person was like, all things considered, that might not be a bad idea. And I was like, I might mute that guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing. It's Twitter. You don't like what someone has to say, you can mute it. I'll be honest. I have Pro Football Focus blocked. I have a personal beef with Mike Florio from when I was in high school, but I still just don't like seeing it because a lot of it's outlandish. So I don't care. So you get rid of it and move on. I'm not going to tell Mike Florio he can't have his opinion or that he shouldn't be on Twitter. I just move on. You're allowed to do that.
Let's segue to something else that's Joe Burrow-esque.
Okay.
We were talking about this morning on the phone. And I had said to you, I can think of 5 either throws or decisions that stick in my head that showed that Joe Burrow was actually human. And probably throws and decisions that if you ask him, the majority of them, if he really thought about it, he would probably make adjustments.
Well, I can tell you the one you're going to harp on, he would say he's going to do that every single time. But, go the first 4, let him know. I think I agree with you for the first 4.
Yeah, the first 4 were throws.
Mm-hmm.
They were the 3 worst consecutive throws that probably Joe Burrow will ever make in his career.
The Bears.
Somehow the Bears picked him off 3 straight throws. I'm sure he may not want all 3 of those back, but I guarantee you he'd like to play those 3 plays over again.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee he would.
That was a moment.
Yep. The throw in overtime where he hit the linebacker in stride for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Probably he got a little
Listen, even when he's erratic, he's hitting guys in the numbers. He doesn't have to do anything different.
That was Tannehill-ish. That's what that was. Okay. So all I'm saying is I love Joe Burrow. I am all about Joe Burrow. I'm really ready to hook my wagon on Joe Burrow. He's the best Bengal of all time. He is already the best Bengal that's ever played. I'm telling you.
He's skyrocketing.
Yeah.
I need some longevity, but he's skyrocketing.
Number 5, which will be incredibly controversial. I'm a conservative guy. And you do not throw caution to the wind until all you have left is one breath of life. And with 40-plus seconds in the Super Bowl on a 4th and 1, to gamble every single possible thing on that one play, and albeit Chase was open. I get that he was open. May have dropped it if they got it to him. Who knows? Get the first down. Live to see another series of downs. They would have had 3, 4, 5 more plays after that if they got the first down. Granted, it would have been the most spectacular finish in the history of the Super Bowl. You'd have seen the thing forever, and God bless the Bengals, they'd have lived in infamy. I would have loved that, but I'm telling you, if they'd have completed it and it would have happened and they'd have won the game because of it, I still would have questioned it.
As long as you can admit that you'd question it, even if it went right.
Absolutely.
Then that's fine. I understand it, and we talked about this at length this morning. The one thing I didn't tell you that I think needs to be taken into consideration about that play If he doesn't do it then, I don't think he does it. Because the Rams were in complete protection mode at that point, as you should be. The only reason why I think you kind of caught him out of their element was because it was 4th and 1. So
I understand that. But again, I'm not an offensive coordinator. I know nothing more about football than turning on the TV and watching it start after the Subway commercial.
As long as you can admit that you are an armchair couch.
I am an armchair quarterback. I am an armchair quarterback. But he was getting harassed almost every drop back in the second half. If you know you're audibling to a play down the right sideline, why the hell don't you roll the pocket and get away from Aaron Donald to give yourself a second or two to throw that ball?
I don't know. I don't like talking bad about
I don't like talking bad about Burrow, but I'm just saying he's not perfect. He doesn't have to be perfect.
You have a visitor.
I have a visitor. I have a little Bengal cat climbing all over the place. I said something about Burrow, and Shiesty almost came up and bit me in the head.
Thou shalt not use the Lord's name in vain. And we're going to move on from there.
Yes,
I understand what you're saying, but I also am very happy that it's 2022 and that we're still in the conversation. So,
hold on. Shiesty has got my Bengal ornament. Can we catch this cat pushing a Bengal ornament? She keeps going after the Bengal ornament.
Okay.
She's a Bengal.
She knows what she likes.
Yes. Hooday.
Hooday. Well, that was our Brimminghorn meadery Bengal talk for the day. So we sound the horn, but all right. Next on the slate, as always, checking in on our
beloved Reds.
Beloved Reds. A week
my what a week they had.
I want to create because I've got more time at home now. I want to create a weekend review graphic that I can pop up there.
Mm-hmm. Like Batman. Pow.
I think the photo I'm going to use when they're going bad, it's on your Facebook. It's the picture of Drew Stubbs face planting into the wall.
Yeah, that's.
And we'll have a sound effect. I'll have two, or we'll have three. If it was flatline, Reds Weekend Review, and it's just like, or if it's great, it'll be Castellanos, over the pitcher. And then if it's bad, it's Drew Stubbs running into the wall
with the sound effect of a diesel getting ready to run over a car. And anyway, okay. Terrible week. They won 2 games somehow against the Giants. The bats came out for an inning or two throughout that series. It's a waste of time talking about them. It really is. Castillo's going to probably be gone. Malley's going to probably be gone. I wouldn't surprise me if Drury was gone. Anybody that can make another team a little better. Solano, he'll be gone. He's had 2 or 3 games. He already looks pretty good. He'll be gone.
I crapped on him early just because he was kind of part of the process, but I mean, he's had a solid career. I feel like I've unjustly shit on him for like the last 4 months.
He's got some running back thighs on him.
He's thicker than a Snicker.
Yeah, yes, he is.
But they're bad. Uh-oh.
I mean, all you have to look forward to is just watching the development of some of the young players, Hunter Green,
Lodolo.
Yeah.
Ashcraft.
Is Ashcraft young?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's only like 22 or 23.
So I mean, we've got control of those guys for a number of years. We may
have
them still.
The one thing they have is control on young, cost-efficient, promising pitching.
I want to see this young left-handed kid, De La Cruz. Is that his name?
Ellie De La Cruz. Yeah.
I
Green bean out, the string bean down there.
Just bring him up. Let's go. The fastball's a fastball. Let's go.
Fastball's a fastball, but you need to make sure he's not another Aquino. Yeah, that's something we can talk about. Guys that have fallen off the reservation for weeks.
If he is Aquino, let's just get rid of him in a day. I mean, we don't need another Aquino. But yeah, we were talking about that also. Why is it when a Reds player gets hurt, I mean, they go AWOL. They're done. You don't see them in the dugout. You don't hear about them. I wonder if half these guys, I feel like they're released. Naquin. Naquin hasn't played in an eon. I haven't seen him. Last I heard about Aquino, he had 10 assists, and everybody was bragging about how great he was. Where'd he go?
I did get curious on one. I was like, because we were just talking about all these guys that it seems like the Reds have had like 85 players.
Oh yeah,
and that's one of those things that happens when you're bad. That's a telltale sign that you're bad. Is revolving door, right? I was like, where'd Colin Moran go? And then it blipped up on my phone that he got cut today. And I went,
oh, did he?
He got DFA'd. The Reds gave him the option to go to AAA, and he went, nah. He elected free agency.
How bad you got to be if you can't break the starting lineup on this team? You got to question if you're cut out to be a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, you might have some talent deficit. He's getting old, though. I mean, he was good for a while. Shelf life's not great.
And they're going to bring up Barrero eventually, and what's that going to mean for Farmer?
I don't know.
This team has zero direction.
They really don't. They've got some hitters in the minors that are years away. They've got pitching that's starting to be ready, probably going to be pretty good in the next year and a half. But then they've got so much money wrapped up in other players that they just, even if the pitching develops, they don't have the resources to go out and get what they need.
As bad as this team is, nobody should be years away. They really shouldn't. I understand the level of baseball is different, but it's still the same game. Baseball is baseball, and
it's the same game.
There are some players at 19 and 20 that can play Major League Baseball. Believe it or not,
there are. But I'm going to assume the Reds know their prospects better than me. I think that's a fair assumption.
I think you're probably wrong.
Well, I'm going to assume they do for sake of this argument.
Okay.
I just don't want to kill some kid's confidence by bringing them up too early. I mean, that does happen. I see it all the time in high school football where you've got a kid at freshman that, okay, we'll bring him up and he gets his shit rocked for 2 or 3 weeks and he's never the same and he was super promising. All it takes is a week or two of getting completely outmatched, and some of these guys just that's it.
You gotta be a little more mentally tough than that.
Well, and that's kind of the other thing you can say is if that's all it's going to take, then you're never going to make it.
Correct. I mean, just bring all these guys up in September and let them play. Just have fun, guys. Experience Major League Baseball. Well, it doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going anywhere. You can't really be any worse than what they are. I mean, they were historically bad for a while, and then they hit like a month run where they were about average, and now they're back to being historically bad.
Yeah.
So,
and I know I'm being ridiculously wild about that idea of just bringing anybody else up, but you can't get any worse than they are. You really can't. And you will find a couple players that can actually excel, and you're going to find it.
I have a hard time believing that Ellie De La Cruz could not hit at least like 175 and replace one of these other guys that's hitting 175. And at least, if you're the Reds, bring up one of these guys and put some asses in the seats.
Yeah, and the majority of these guys are going to play just as good defense, if not better, in the majors than they are down in the minors where you got the rocky fields. And
I can't imagine a line drive to center field is any harder to catch at AAA than it is in Major League Baseball. Maybe it's hit a little harder sometimes.
Guarantee the lighting's better in Major League Baseball.
Lighting's better, probably traction's better. Outfield walls are probably a little bit more cushioned. Warning track's probably better. Conditions are better. I don't think the flight of the ball is going to knuckle any different in Major League Baseball. So it's stuff like that.
Hey, we all thought they did a great job of harnessing and nurturing Senzel.
Jesus,
what's happened there? I mean, he's had 3 good games or 4 good games, and Lance McAllister is gooing all over him. What the hell? I mean, come on. He hasn't even played 150 games yet as a Major League Baseball player. Now they're going, yeah, that's because he's got a small sample size. You got to give him a chance. That's over 3 years.
4.
Well, one of them was the strike shortened or the COVID thing. But still, if you can't get on the field, I don't need you. And then when you get on the field, you're a 240 hitter. Billy Hamilton hit 240. He got raked over the coals. This guy's hitting 240, and people are just looking the other way. I don't get it.
No, we talked about this earlier. Billy Hamilton's a better baseball player than Nick
Billy
Senzel.
Hamilton's exciting. People would pay to watch Billy Hamilton play defense.
Just go down the list. Batting average, they're identical.
They're identical. On-base percentage, almost identical.
Nick Senzel's got him by like 10 points, which is 1%. In the course of a week, that means nothing. Over the course of a season, it's a handful of more times on base. 1% is nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
When Senzel tries to steal, most of the time he gets thrown out.
Right. I watched Senzel make routine catches look astronomically hard. Sometimes he makes decent plays. Sometimes he looks like a complete buffoon. Billy Hamilton it's not even a topic of conversation. Billy's a better defensive player.
Well, Billy's a nightly highlight.
Billy was a better defensive player. He was a better base runner. I don't know what Senzel's like in the locker room, but Billy had a much more electric and magnetic personality about him. He's probably more likable. Just from a fan perspective, I like Billy's personality better than Senzel. I'm not saying Senzel's an asshole or a dick or anything, but Billy was fun. You never even hear Senzel talk, and that's just his personality.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going off of likability, just from a fan's perspective, Billy had a better personality. If I'm going off defense, Billy was better. If I'm going off base running, Billy was better. If I'm going off hitting ability, they're the same player, and Billy was supposed to be a terrible hitter, and Senzel was supposed to be a great hitter. So now I have to look at contract, and Senzel's a first-round pick. He's making all kinds of money. Billy wasn't. So, I mean, even if you want to go the metric route and look at WAR, over Senzel's career, his WAR is -1. Billy's is +10. Billy was in Gold Glove consideration every year. Billy, even when he couldn't hit, was stealing 50 bases a year. When Billy went, the offense went. When Senzel goes, a couple people on Twitter get excited.
Well, here's one other thing, and this is something I know Billy Hamilton has played a lot longer than Nick Senzel.
Yeah, he's played 900 games to about 200. It's about 4 times longer.
Right.
Significant.
But do you think if anybody asks the question, who has more home runs? Billy Hamilton has 24 home runs in his career. Senzel's got 16. I mean, shouldn't Senzel have 16 per year if he's all that in a bag of chips?
He should, especially in a small park.
Playing at Great American Small Park? Are you kidding me?
You know, people are going to say, well, he gets hurt. Well, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And I've voiced this several times. I talked to Jay about this religiously. Jay's a pretty good follow on Twitter. It's at Jaybird or something. I don't know. I'm terrible at Twitter handles. But, you know, Jay will be like, you know, he's a good ball player when healthy. And I'm like, that's enough for me to not want him. That when healthy tag is awful.
I'll give you one more. And, yeah, I am bashing the hell out of Nick Senzel here. I'll tell you, so they had a better center fielder on their roster last year than Senzel that hit for better power, that was more athletic, that was maybe not faster, but a better base runner. You know who that was?
I can't remember the last year at all. Go for it.
You can't remember?
Not really.
Lorenzen.
Yeah,
Lorenzen was a better overall athlete and baseball player than Nick Senzel.
Yeah, I would. You especially, there's no debate when you say just going off pure athleticism.
Yeah.
Lorenzen's probably one of those guys you could stick in almost any sport, and he would be fine to a degree.
Sure.
But Lorenzen also got hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, he did.
One of my issues with him.
So, I mean, he was like the pitching version of Senzel, but I'd have been happier and more excited to watch Lorenzen play center field for a month than Senzel for a month.
Well, quite frankly, I don't know why Alomar's not out there. Alomar's a darn good ball player.
He's probably the best defensive outfielder they've got, and he's hitting really well right now.
Yeah, he's hitting well. He's playing defense well. He runs well. I mean, he was, again, that was one of those guys on that list that I put out right before the season started. I think I put a list of like 30 guys out. Go after these guys. Jury was on there. Pham was on there. Alomar was on there. Colin Moran was on there. And a lot of those guys did contribute for a little bit. I mean, it's not hard. All I did was look at guys that had high contact rates, struck out less than one time per game, and had a career positive WAR. And there was a list of about 15 guys at each position, and I went for guys that made under $2 million a year. Here we go. Okay. 3 of them stuck. It wasn't that hard, guys. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a GM guru or anything, but I know what I want in hitters, and that's guys that don't strike out all the time and play. They're not defensive liabilities. If you consistently put, a line drive out there, Kyle Farmer, Drury, at this rate, Alomar.
How about Reynolds?
Reynolds, yeah.
Reynolds is solid. He gets a hit every game.
He was on that list too. I forgot about it. He was. I think he was the second cut I made. He didn't make the final 30 because I said, well, this guy hasn't really played in 2 years, so I took him off. But he was in the research because I was like, I don't really know who this guy is, but he hits line drives. I felt like the guy in Moneyball was like, well, his defect is he throws funny. I'm like, I don't care. He gets on base. Let's sign him up.
Hey, you know who another AWOL player is? Where's Lucas Sims?
He's hurt forever.
Yeah, he's always hurt.
Another guy. And he's one of the names that comes up in the perpetual conversation of, man, we get this bullpen back. Okay. Antone, don't care. Gone. He's out forever. Sims, out forever. If you're hurt more than like 10% of the time, you're almost dead to me. And I say this a lot. If you are hurt, do you know what that means? It means I got to pay 2 people to do your job.
Right. And when you got pitchers like Sims and when we had Amir Garrett, when you had to worry if they could throw strikes, what's the point of having a pitcher if you got to worry about them throwing strikes? I want a pitcher that you're worried that his slider isn't going to quite break enough and he's going to get a little bit too much of the plate. Not a guy that's going to walk everybody.
Right. That's why I like Hunter Green. As much as I bashed him early, he's earned a lot of my respect because if all he has to worry about is throwing strikes. When he gets his slider over, he's great.
Where's Overton?
He's hurt too.
Holy cow! I mean, he was hitting bat after bat and getting everybody out.
He's got a back problem, so I don't know, but no, and I feel the same way about injured players in baseball that I do with football. I cannot stand guys and it's not anything toward them. Some people just aren't made for the daily rigors of sport.
You can't be on the roster if you can't play.
Right. It's like everybody loved Tyler Eifert. I love the talent. Didn't play. Next. There's no point.
Right.
And unfortunately,
Trey Waynes.
Yeah, Trey Waynes. Love the talent. Didn't play. Don't care. If he's had one good season out of the 2 he's been in the league. If he turns out to be fragile and he can't play, like that tweet said, I'll be done. It'll hurt, but I'll be done. I'm not going to wish that on him. I'm not even going to put that voodoo out there by saying his name. But you know what I mean? I can't. It's why I got sick of Carson Palmer toward the end. Oh, it's his knee. Oh, it's his elbow. Oh, it's this. It's that. It's his other arm. Stop playing, man.
You know what the best thing Carson Palmer did as a Bengal in his final 3 years?
Final 3 years. Hold on. So that would have been 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. Do you know what the best thing he did?
Leave?
Besides leaving? He handed off backward. Effectively.
Yeah. Handed off backward with his opposite hand.
Yeah. That was Carson Palmer's claim to fame as a Bengal.
That was and they didn't fumble one time. That's incredible. I got a buddy who's a Steelers fan. I was telling him about that. He's like, yeah, right. And we went back because you got Game Pass. We just pulled up the highlights from 2009.
Yeah.
And he was like, holy shit, he's handing off hand first.
Yeah, he was going with the back of his hand was
hitting the gun of the running back.
He's handing it off this way.
Every single time.
Instead of this way. Well, I can't get my hand in there. So that way.
Right. And he was like, well, that's incredible. I said, but the most incredible thing is the fact that our quarterback quit. We had a new offensive coordinator. We had a new quarterback, new
receiver,
new wide receiver. Our offensive line got shuffled around. We had a no-name defense.
And we made the playoffs for 5 straight years.
During a lockout. They weren't allowed to talk to anybody. Oh, my God.
All right, what's next? Where are we at? Where are we going here?
Watson.
Shit. Why? Why are we even talking about that piece of shit? Why would we talk about him?
Because today was the first day of the hearing.
Guilty.
It's not a guilty or not guilty.
Whatever. Screwed. Not playing football anymore. Out of here. Whatever.
The NFL is going for a minimum year-long suspension, and the NFLPA does not want him suspended at all. And it's not that the NFLPA doesn't think he did anything wrong. It's that the NFLPA is looking over at guys like Robert Kraft, who got drilled with the same thing and didn't get suspended. So they're like, can we keep it even? Like, they're just protecting their guys.
Wrongs don't make it right. They got to start bucking up at some point.
No, I agree with that.
Maybe this is where they buck up.
Two wrongs don't make it right. I agree with that.
They don't.
Just start getting rid of them then.
Right.
You can't fix the wrong things you've done in the past, so you might as well just be correct moving forward. And I wish the NFLPA would think that way. Just be correct moving forward. But what's basically what happens, if you're not familiar, it's a lot like arbitration in baseball is what's going to happen. The NFL is going to come to her name's Sue Robinson, which is a really weird name for a judge. Sue. They're going to go to her and say, we want a year, 2 years, whatever. NFLPA is going to say, we want this. She's going to look at everything over and go, I'm going to side with you, whoever that be. The weird thing is, and this is written in the CBA, and this is one of those things that we'll talk about later and say, why would the players agree on that? If Roger Goodell looks at the ruling that Sue Robinson puts out and goes, I don't like that, he can just overrule it. He has that power. So I don't know. I don't understand if the NFL wants a 2-year suspension, all that's going to happen is they're going to deliberate for 3 or 4 days, whatever it's going to be. Sue Robinson's going to go 8 games, and Goodell's going to go 2 years. Sorry.
Do you think this ruling's going to come down before the season begins?
I think it's going to happen probably in the next week. Personally, I think it's going to happen in the next week. I don't know if there's an appeal process or any kind of crap after that. If he gets suspended, can he appeal? I don't know the next steps. A lot of times with these things, it's not cut and dry, and these things get drug out really, really, really long. I would like to think we'll know in the next week. We might not know for 6 months. Who knows? I frankly couldn't tell you. I don't know enough about the proceedings. But I know Goodell has the final verdict to pound the gavel and say, no, this is what's happening. So we'll see.
Yep. Very, very interesting to see what the ramifications are for the Cleveland Browns. That'll be how that unfolds is probably, to me, just as intriguing as what happens to Watson.
Do you mean like if they get penalized, or like if they have to pay the contract, or what?
Whatever. I mean, will they have to pay a contract? Do they lose those draft picks? What assets are they going to be held liable for, if any, based upon what they find?
I think the draft picks are gone. I don't think there's anything they can do about that, because the only way the draft picks come back is if the trade gets voided, and they've already said that's not happening. So to me, it comes down to contract money, which he's already been paid the signing bonus. So they're on the hook for that regardless. At absolute minimum, because I don't think you can pay back a signing bonus. I don't think you can do that. Because it's already been paid out. So what is that? 46 over 4 years. I mean, they're on the hook for, 11.5 a year for the next 4 years, regardless.
So if the NFL suspends a player in general for taking PEDs and they hit him with a 4-game suspension,
yeah,
does that player get paid by the team during that period of time? If that player, let's say that player had a guaranteed contract for 1 year, does that player get his money?
I don't think he gets them for those games.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it also depends on the case. I think it depends what voids a guarantee. It's going to be how the contract's written. But the weird thing about this is we knew going into this contract that he was probably going to get suspended. So I don't know, and most people don't know, because it's not public knowledge, the verbiage of that contract. We don't know how it's written. We don't know what protections are in there for Cleveland. I mean, they very well could be like, if you get suspended because of this, you don't get paid during the suspension. I don't know. I mean, it could be that he still does get paid, or there's I don't know. It just depends how they do it. Not all contracts are the same. They're not like boilerplate. They're 100% custom.
Yeah. Okay, what else we got? Let's get off of him.
Nothing. That's about it.
We're done. All right. 75 days till September 11th, and they hook horns with the Steelers.
I think I'm going to be there for that one. I
I'll
think so.
I'll be there.
Well, you've season tickets.
Yeah. I'm not going to go to every game, but I'll be there.
I think I'm going to be able to get to that one. I think I'm going to do the one in Tennessee too. Once I get a couple paychecks under my belt with this new job, if I can sign up for that travel deal that we found, I think I'll do that.
I may have to sign up for a parking pass.
Go tailgating?
No, not so much for tailgating, but I do not like that walk of shame of walking all the way back to that bus and had to wait for a bus to take me to Newport on the Levee to go there and then drive home. I don't like that walk of shame.
What, you don't like when your feet hurt and you've been screaming for 4 hours and you got to go walk for an hour across the bridge to get back to your car just to get stuck in traffic?
Yeah.
Great feeling.
I did that for that Green Bay game. What a horrible game that was.
Green Bay.
All those missed field goals.
Were you at that game?
Yeah, you were. That game.
Because I was calling you in the parking lot when they were kicking more field goals.
Yeah. And I think you even said he made the one.
I thought he did. He hit the.
You said he made it. It was good. And I went, I'm looking at the replay on that big board over by Great American Ballpark. I'm going, that looks like it's a little left. It hit the freaking flag up there.
Thought it was like the foul pole.
Yeah.
All
right.
I've never seen a kicker hit the flag.
No. And the kick before that, the 57-yarder, right at the end of regulation, he hit the right post. He was zeroing in on it. He'd have made the third one.
Would you rather have a kicker miss by 500 feet or when he hit the crossbar?
I don't care. If he misses, he misses.
Is a miss, or are you going to feel comfortable knowing that worst case scenario, it might rattle in?
A miss is a miss.
A miss is a miss. Okay. I think I'd feel more comfortable if I knew that he was at least guaranteed to hit the pole. I'd love that in baseball. I don't know if it's not going to go necessarily left or right of the pole, but it's going to hit the pole every time. Sign me up.
That's a win. That's a win in baseball.
All right.
Well, I guess we will reconvene next Tuesday as we get a week closer to the wonderful world of football.
Wonderful world of foosball.
How about the Bengals and the Bearcats are both sold out season tickets?
Are they?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, here, we'll have a Bearcat conversation. If they don't win at least all of their games.
Yeah,
they have a cakewalk.
I don't think they shouldn't lose a game. Maybe they'll slip up and lose a game. It's not going to matter. They could win every game by 50 points, and there are going to be people saying they should be in the playoff. No. They're playing nobody.
Yeah, I needed convincing last year in the Notre Dame game was my convincing. But now you have a new quarterback. You have a new staff for, a chunk of it. And you have no big game. Maybe Indiana, if you want to count that. I don't know if there's anybody ranked on that schedule. Maybe SMU will be ranked 23rd by the time we play them. Yeah. But I think unless they are just absolutely dominating people, and I mean 50-3 every single game.
I still don't think that gets it done.
But I don't know if I'd be convinced because they're beating up the little children of the poor.
Yeah, they're not going up against an offensive and a defensive line like they faced in Alabama.
Yeah, because when you make the playoffs, I can look at probably 6 teams right now, and I could probably get 3 of them right that are going to be in the playoffs. It's typically going to be, Georgia, Alabama, whoever, Notre Dame.
Oh, without a doubt, it's going to be Ohio State this year.
Ohio, yeah.
With that quarterback,
Stroud's pretty. I don't like Ohio State. I might have a reason to watch this year.
They're not going to lose a game.
They
will go undefeated, and they will be the national champions. I have zero doubt about that. That kid is that good.
What's the line on the champions right now? You want to put a bet down, a fake one at least, and see if you win the money?
Sure.
Okay, so national championship odds, college football 2022. Who is the best odds? This is Fox Sports. I'm looking up. And this is as of April. So not much has changed, right? Just a couple recruiting classes for kids that aren't going to play a couple years from now. Ohio State has the third best odds at plus 500. So you'd win 5 times your money.
That's easy.
I think that's worth putting $100 down on.
Who are they going to lose to?
I mean, you might trip up in the playoffs, but regular season.
I understand that, but getting there, who are they going to lose to?
Let's look at their schedule. Are we really having Ohio State talk?
We are, but Michigan's not going to be Ohio State this year. That kid is so good.
Week 1's Notre Dame. That could be a trip.
That kid's damn good.
Week 2 is going to be a problem.
Who's week 2?
Arkansas State.
I was going to say, if it's not Alabama or Georgia, I don't think there's a problem on that schedule.
It's Notre Dame, Arkansas State, Toledo, Wisconsin, Rutgers, who I don't think has ever beat Ohio State. There's some kind of long-running Rutgers losing streak. I know that. Michigan State, never know. Iowa, probably not. Penn State, no. Northwestern, as much as I loved some of my kids that play there, no. Indiana, no. Maryland, no. Michigan?
No.
Okay, well,
they had their moment in the sun last year.
That's looking 12-0. Maybe 10-2 absolute worst. And
they're going to run the table. When they get past Notre Dame, I mean, it's like the parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah, I mean,
wide open.
That's like the equivalent of going up against like Ivan Drago week 1.
Yeah.
And then week 2 is like me. They're just going to punch me straight in the face and move on.
Well, what was that show with Jim Carrey when all of a sudden all the red lights turned green?
Oh, Evan or Bruce Almighty.
Yes.
Hi-ho, Silver.
Yeah. That's what Ohio State's going to be like.
All this horsepower, no room to gallop.
Yes. All right, we have talked enough. I'm having a hankering again for something sweet.
Yeah, actually just went to Kroger and bought a chocolate cake. So one of those $5 like really dense ones.
Yeah, that's a little too much for me.
I'm feeling it.
Oh, I will say we went to Whippity Dip. What is that one?
In Lebanon?
No, in Landon.
In Landon. So down off 22 and 3?
Yeah, have you been
there? Not a sponsor, but hey.
No, not a sponsor, but holy cow, I'll sponsor them. That was I had they call it a whirly or a whirl or something. It's like a blizzard. I mean, I went to pick it up and it slammed my hand down. It was so heavy.
Like picking up Thor's hammer.
Oh my God, it was good. Highly recommend. If anybody's in the Landon area, even though they're not a sponsor.
Let me guess. Were there Oreos in it?
Not enough.
Oh, okay. See? You almost tricked me. You always got Oreos. Have
Not
you had
enough.
the one near downtown Loveland? The Whippy Doo? They all got the same freaking name. Whippy Dip, Whippy Doo, Whippy Doo.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have.
The one near downtown Loveland by Paxton's Bar and Grill is pretty good. Obviously, we're in Lebanon. Wits, it's not ice cream. That frozen custard's really good.
We went there the other night, and their flavor of the day was cinnamon bun. Ooh. Kim got that. I had a couple bites of it. It tasted like I was eating a freaking cinnamon roll.
Now, here, I'll say this. If anybody watching, of the 0 of you, is near – well, we get some views on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is near Lebanon or Mainville. There's a place called 12 Degrees that does like Italian ice.
Not a fan.
Well, you're not a fan.
I'm not a
But
fan.
if you like shaved ice or Italian ice, and it sounds weird that someone would have a store for Italian ice, it's connected to a Shell gas station. Don't drive by it. It's not sketchy. It's actually pretty cool when you go in there. They got arcade games. So if you want to play Pac-Man or whatever, that's cool too. But they got shaved ice. My God, I had one that was apple pie. It tasted straight like an apple pie. And then so it was like the shaved ice and then like gelato, which is like really thick, creamy Italian ice cream. It was vanilla and then the shaved ice again, then like whipped cream. It tasted like I was eating an apple pie a la mode. I was like, it's cold, but my God, was it good. I only got through about a third of it before it melted, but highly recommend.
We need a place like that to sponsor us so we can get some freebies.
You just want to go and get free ice cream?
I'd really like that place in Chicago to sponsor us, but I couldn't take advantage of anything.
Portillo's!
Oh.
I know you're probably not a Bengals or Reds fan. Send the check.
They're either Bear fans or Colt fans.
I will wear a Cubs hat for some free Portillo's. I'll do it. I'll take the hit.
That might be hard for me to do.
I'll wear a Cubs jersey if it's a former Red. Are there any Reds Cubs? I'm sure.
David Ross?
David Ross? Yeah.
Is he still the manager?
I have no idea.
How do they still have a manager when their record's like the same as the Reds? How do either of those teams have managers?
Okay, so my cousin, love her dearly, is dating a massive Cubs fan. And we all went out to dinner the other night. And it was real busy. We were at the back porch up in like Westchester area, up off kind of like Route 4. And I was like, man, it's busy. There's a ton of people here. It's late. I was kind of late for dinner, and I was like, I hope I can find them. And I just see in a sea of all kinds of regular stuff, there is one Anthony Rizzo jersey. And I was like, got him. So I went over there, sat down, and he goes, how about them Reds? And I was like, you were tied with them for like 3 days last week, man. You have zero room to talk. I was like, you guys are paying a ton of money to be tied with the worst team in baseball.
Second worst team in baseball.
Oh, we'll probably fall back to the basement.
Oakland A's right now have that distinction.
How much more money are we spending than the Oakland A's?
Oh, we're probably spending 6 times what they're spending.
Yeah, they are using like coupons for rental players. Oakland A's salary. Here we go. Okay, I've got this is according to Spotrac, who does a decent job. Most expensive player on the roster. Take a guess.
For the Oakland A's?
Yeah.
I have no idea who plays for the Oakland A's.
That would be Stephen Piscotty. Wasn't he the Cardinal that kept getting drilled with the throws running around the bases?
I'm thinking he was a Cardinal.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He got hit with a pitch, got the first, stole second, got hit in the head with the throw to second. Then there was a base hit, and he came around to score. And the throw from the outfield smoked him.
And when he woke up, he was in Oakland.
Yeah. What happened? So his salary, which is 16% of their entire payroll, is $7 million. Do some quick math.
Well, that would be about a $50 million payroll.
Okay.
The Reds are what?
119.
Okay. Well, so the Reds are 2.5 times. All right, we need to end this. My dog is going crazy. Otherwise, I'm going to have a mess to clean up.
How many players above $1 million do they have? We'll start with that. We'll end with that.
You better end with that. 11.
7.
Oh, okay. We ended with
Jesus.
that. Rosie needs to go outside.
Yeah, go ahead and let her out.
Can we say goodbye? Can we say hooday?
Hooday! Oh, there's
Hooday!
Rosenthal $3 million.
75 days.
They're paying Trevor Rosenthal $3 million still.
See ya.
Goodbye.